Welcome to Stars Podcast, your growth mindset mecca. We are all about self-leadership principles here at Stars Podcast. Our guests come from all over the world with very unique stories of how they hack their way into success. As you'll quickly find out, nothing happens overnight. And as always, enjoy the journey. Hey guys, welcome back. Stars Podcast. Ron Jordan, your host, coming out of Rocinante Studios in Slippery Rock, Pennsylvania. Today we have one of our fellow V friends on today. His name, you guys will know him as soon as he talks. The voice that carries a big stick. Bryce Allard is in studio today via Zoom. He was actually the recipient of, I believe you came on one of our Tuesday lives and won a token. Is that correct?
Yeah, man. I think it was a Thursday giveaway.
Yeah, on Thursday giveaway. That's right, on the V Friends Insider. So Bryce, welcome to the show.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
You were also one of the early crowdfunded token holders as well.
I am.
And that is a
methodical mammoth. Yeah, I wasn't quite crowdfunded. I was gifted.
Gifted.
Yeah.
Gifted. Now let's back up a little bit into that. You know, I had Brooklyn on earlier today, and she was one that was crowdfunded, and you gave up what you had in your pocket to go to that effort. Can you run me through that? Just high level. You can get as much detail as you want to, but you've become a staple in the community just because of, I don't want to say just because of, but in part of your huge heart and aspirations to help the community. So,
yeah, sure. So Brooklyn was actually the very first crowdfunded token. My God.
He's good.
So she was definitely the first crowdfunded. It was pretty awesome. She was just super awesome and on one of our deals, and she was definitely the first crowdfunded. She came into the Insiders Clubhouse room, and she just really resonated with a lot of us. It was pretty awesome. And Rob, I Run Pro, is who he is on Discord. He made the comment that we were talking about who had tokens or whatever, and Rob was like, "Hey, let's get Brooklyn a token," and just kind of put out the call to action, so to speak.
Yeah.
And so I was like, "Yeah, that's cool." So it was me and two other people, and we, I got her MetaMask and sent her what I had. And to be honest, I don't remember what it was. Like, I was maybe at this point, I think cores were just above floor. Okay. I don't think they were quite 1 ETH yet, but I think I was like halfway to what the floor was at that point. I think it might have been like 0.75 at that point. So I just gave her what I had. I think it's like 0.3 or whatever. That's irrelevant.
Yeah.
The point is, so we got her a woke walrus, and she came back in. She was just all ecstatic and whatever. And we were happy for her, Fast forward like a day or two, she hops on Discord and sends me a private message, a DM, and was like, "Thank you again. I really appreciate it." Whatever. I'm like, "Yeah, man." And she was like, "Yeah, I'll see you at VCon." I'm like, "Well, yeah, I'll be there, but I won't be inside. I'll just tailgate outside and wait for you guys to come out, have a few beers and just tailgate." I'm like, "That's cool." She goes, "What do you mean?" I go, "Well, I don't have a token." And she goes, "Are you fucking kidding me?" So, but yeah, so then, it was even a day after that, probably a day or two after that, we're just chilling in the clubhouse. We're doing our thing and chit-chatting, and she came in and everyone's like, "Oh, Brooklyn, how are you?" And she goes back and kind of goes over the story. And then she goes, "You realize, guys, that Bryce doesn't have a token. He gave me all his ETH." I'm like, it's really not a big deal. Please stop.
Yeah.
You know. Then all of a sudden, Rob is like, dude, seriously? I'm like, well, yeah, it's not a big deal. It'll come. It'll come. It's not, whatever. He goes, well, what do you want? You want a just jackal or a methodical mammoth? I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, I'm going to give you a token. I go, you're fucking joking, because he bought it day one. So he bought it like it was Ethereum was like just shy of $4,000.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what are you doing? You're essentially giving me $4,000. I'm like, you're nuts. Well, I didn't really have a say. Everyone just said, oh, mammoth, 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 like, so I didn't really have a say, which I'm completely cool with. So the mammoth
Yeah.
was born. And
The
then
community spoke.
everyone, and then it just kind of snowballed from there. Like we started crowdfunding quite a few people that, really resonated with our group.
Yeah. Well, let me back up to something, and this is something that I think that you'll be able to speak on, is you gave everything you had.
Yeah.
Where does a mentality like that come from? Like where do you get to a point where you go, it doesn't really matter what I want. This person wants it too, so I'm going to give it to them. Where does, because I know a little bit of your backstory, and I'd love to go down that road of a really personal situation for you, but
Sure.
I'd like you to uncover it if you're comfortable.
Sure. Yeah. So I was talking with my wife about it, and we were thinking about going through the business account and doing this and that, and I wasn't sure. And I had bought in a dip what I could at the time, and we were talking about it, and she just didn't understand the NFT space at all. She hadn't done any research, wasn't her thing. And I've been a big follower of Gary Vaynerchuk, so um, I was explaining it to her, and I told her this came up, and I told her what I was going to do, and it just kind of clicked with her. She's like, she didn't quite understand, but she goes, "You do what you want." And it was just one of those things. It was just one of those moments that, like, it was like a moment of clarity, like it just felt right. Just felt like something that needed to happen. Um, she really resonated, and that was the time where we were in the process of building community. So what better way to build community and build rapport, like with other people, and showcase exactly what Gary V and all is what this project's actually meant to be.
Yeah.
So just like I said, it was just a moment of clarity that I was just like, fuck it.
Yeah, it just
you
made
know?
total sense.
Yeah.
And then as far as the community building aspect, I think it's one of those phenomena that I've never experienced before in terms of a grassroots effort to really embody exactly what that message is. And
Right.
it's just caring for one another despite yourself,
Right.
almost.
Well, what's crazy is that he's got over all his socials, I think he's got like 9 or 10 million followers. And to
And there's
be,
only what, 2,800 holders?
yeah, yeah. And let's be honest, only what, 150,000 in the Discord,
That's such a
with
small
only a
group.
handful of them being active,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Um, that's insane. That's him trusting his core community, his OGs, and saying, here's the deal. Like, I'm going to give you guys the opportunity before I blast this out to the world.
Mm-hmm.
And he did. He gave us almost 2.5 months of doing that. So I wouldn't go as far as saying it was a grassroots thing, because I mean, he's definitely got a big reach,
Sure.
but it's grassroots in the sense that, like, I don't think this has been done like this before.
No, I
Or-
don't think so either. This is brand new.
right.
Well, and speaking of this is maybe a dovetail into something else. However, NFTs, this is your first go around at NFTs, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you have gone from 0 NFTs to now being involved in a lot of projects.
Yeah. Yeah. I've bought and given away a lot of stuff during our Thursday nights just because I think, again, that's just part of it's selfish. I mean, let's be honest, it makes me feel good.
Oh yeah, there.
Like it makes me feel really good. But it's also like a lot of these smaller, like the skelly bit stuff, the bit shields and the countless other real small ones that are community folks that like I feel I personally know
Mhm.
and have chatted with. Hell yeah, I'm gonna buy their stuff and shill it and give it away. I mean, why not?
Yeah.
It's just getting them out there, It's just reaching more people. So, and then yeah, I've been duped into things like Yetis and FOMOed into other things, but I mean, it is what it
I'm
is.
still holding on to my Astro Yeti. It's going to be something at some point in my life.
I have mine.
Even if it's something I can point to and say, "Hey, I wish I woulda." But
Yeah, yeah, I've got it tucked away in a back corner somewhere in my wallet.
yeah,
But
in order to get to NFT land, you had to experience the internet, and your entire business model in your day to day is online selling, correct?
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and can you run me through where you started with that and how you get to that point?
How much time do you got? Let's see.
I got a long time. I got what, an hour and a half?
Perfect.
Let's do it.
It's not going to take that long. So I went to college to be a teacher. I found construction after college, or not even after. I was I was about one semester. So I had to do my student teaching, then I graduated. I
Okay.
found construction. I went and did some over the road construction um, the summer before my last semester. So I was like, I got a taste of money. I was like, there's no way in hell I'm gonna be able to make, I made a teacher's salary in 3 months.
Oh yeah. Over the road
Like,
construction. Yeah.
yeah, um, I'm done. I'm not doing teaching. So I quit college, and so as things went on, I ended up getting married, and we ended up I had to quit doing the over the road stuff. So I went to a construction company that was closer to home. And we still worked throughout the week, but I was home every weekend. Because first 2 years of my marriage, I slept in my own bed 5 nights. So that was pretty tough on our marriage.
Yeah, that is
So
tough.
that being said, that's why I switched gears. I didn't like that construction nearly as much. So to get away from the monotony and what I didn't like about it as a welder, um, I started doing Amazon, doing retail arbitrage, which I went into Targets and Walmarts and big box stores and scanned products and bought low, sold high. With that being said, that was kind of a side hustle. It was something to do, a little extra money, kind of get my feet wet with all the different things in the internet. Um, Catapult into 2018, I hurt my back. So I was on limited, like I was on restrictions, so that took me away from the heavy welding and put me into another section of the company doing like patching, concrete patching and stuff like that, which a little less labor intensive, but again, really sucked. So I went on for a year and a half. All the while I'm building my business. I'm now not going into stores as much. I'm buying online using online resources and um, getting stuff shipped to me. and prepping it here, sending it to Amazon. Then COVID hit, and I was actually laid off in February because we went to Disney the 1st of February last year, and I always take my layoff at that time. And then they never brought me back. They decided back injury, we don't want to deal with you no more, so they just cut me loose. So that was kind of a reality check. My side hustle now became my full-time gig. I had mouths to feed and bills to pay, and here I am.
So you had to double down at that point on your online business.
I didn't have a choice.
Well,
It became real.
How about it? I don't want to say it's perfect timing for a pandemic and for your situation, but like everything went online. So I have to assume that it got busy for you.
Absolutely. Yeah, it couldn't have happened at a better time.
That's sort of what I'm putting together here is you being
luck of the draw.
able to dive in.
Oh, absolutely. Luck of the draw. It allowed me the time to be able to just focus. And so I grew in that 8 months. I grew from doing revenue of like 150-ish thousand previous years in revenue to a little over 1 million. And then this year we're on pace to do about 15 times more than that.
Yeah, that's absolutely incredible. So have you had any growing pains?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Money gets tight. Amazon gets pissed off and decides to hold your money over stupid stuff. And so right now they're sitting on a big chunk of money. And
to be able to share that at will also, because you are available, you are around. And I love the internet for that reason. It allows the next generation to learn from a generation from in their own house, as opposed to, somebody else teaching them, which isn't a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. There are a lot of skills that can be learned from other people, sometimes even better than what I could teach. However, as a parent and as somebody who has a ton of experiences in whatever, even if it's just being a boy at that age, you have the experience.
Right.
To be available to give that feedback to them is priceless. And the internet has allowed that to happen. The internet,
right. And exposing them to, they've seen a visible change in how I connect with people as well through our community, because they'll come in the room and be like, "Oh, are you on Clubhouse? Which room are you in? Can I talk this time?" or whatever. And I mean, they've seen how like situations have evolved, because I mean, Clubhouse and this community has kind of permeated our lives, and not in a bad way.
No.
But so I mean, they're growing up into be young men that hopefully they're taking some soaking in like a sponge some of the information that's going on here as well. They're big gamers right now, but they're not really into the tech space yet. So
yeah,
they're they're learning on NFTs right now, and there's one coming out that actually has a Fortnite skin already. Gugamon, it's janky heists. Not sure how much that's going to cost, but my kids have seen that. So anything to do with Fortnite now, they're interested. So
yeah, they're interested. Well, and you're giving them an alternative to traditional means of a living also.
100%. My daughter, she's man, she's gonna be 8 in August. She's already doing like kid coding stuff. We bought into a website. Don't remember what it is off the top of my head, but they use coding to play games.
Right.
So, and she's just doing simple like JavaScript coding right now, but she's 8, not even 8.
Mm-hmm.
No, she's loving it. So, hell, by the time she's 16, she'll have a good foundation and realistically the next thing to come. So,
Yeah, it's giving them the skills for the next generation. And I think that's one of the more important pieces of the puzzle is how do you prepare your kid for the next level? How do you get them ready and be prepared for the because you have to have a vision of what that's going to look like. You have to have a vision of what this world is going towards in order to say, hey, you should look into this or provide them the resources to do it on
right,
their own.
right. And I probably wouldn't have, figured that this was the way until I fully submersed myself into it. Then everything starts to click because I would have been realistically, I would have been like, okay, well, go to school, get a job, just being in the rat race.
Yeah.
And they have, like you said earlier, they've got the ability to really do things that can financially impact their lives in a completely different sense than going to work at Pizza Hut.
What's your plan B right now? Is it NFTs? Is that why you're into them? You see that as an opportunity? What's the play there?
I just enjoy them.
You just enjoy them? Yeah.
uh, I my plan B, man. Plan B would be the second business I started with my with the other seller,
Gotcha.
my business partner. Right now, that's kind of in the works. That's I mean, it's up and running, but
Yeah.
it's not built out like my other business. The whole point is to get out of Amazon, just because of the fees, and you're playing in their sandbox, man. Like they're the boss. Um, and my ultimate goal is to sell all my businesses and do what I want, which is, I want to. I've always had a affinity for growing stuff, so like urban farming and having a greenhouse and aquaponics and um,
Yeah, because you do
hydroponics.
microgreens correct right now.
Yep, yep.
So I think that's
All
that's
indoors,
your plan B, sir.
kind of. Yeah, it is kind of. I guess we do a subscription box. Um,
And what's the subscription box? Tell me about that.
so Creative Greens is just a local Minneapolis, St. Paul. We go around and we hit up farmers markets and stuff, and they set up a subscription, and they either set up weekly or bi-weekly, and they just we've got four main microgreens we sell: radish, peas, broccoli, and sunflower. And then we do a little bit of wheatgrass and whatnot. But so they just order, and it's just a flat fee, and we deliver it to them, and kind of like a
How much room does an operation like that take up?
6 racks right now. You could do it in a 100 square foot room, corner of your basement,
Yeah, that's what I'm
10
curious
by
about.
10 room, easy.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, you could grow just enough for your family on your kitchen counter.
Really?
Yeah,
What's the draw about microgreens? I've heard a lot about microgreens as far as the nutrient density. And
exactly what it is.
okay.
So like the nutrient density of broccoli in particular is 40 times higher than a whole head of broccoli. It's just because they're taking all that energy from busting out of the seed, and they literally have their true leaves. They're this big. Cut them off. I mean, you put them on, make them a salad. You can put them in a smoothie if you wanted to. I mean, eat them on a burger.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
And
and
you're
they taste
also
just like, what's that?
and then you're also taking up far less room with that
Yeah.
with that. So Let me ask you this. As far as farming goes, you always hear about what's sustainable farming, and the soils that we use are becoming less and less nutrient dense. And then you got microgreens that are supposed to be more nutrient dense and are much smaller footprint as far as farming goes. Like if you
100%.
wanted to have a farming operation for microgreens, to have like what would something like that even look like? Can you do are they
I do them
is that a
indoors.
thing?
Yeah, we do all ours indoors. We we we're in a warehouse, so I have ours is 60 feet by 40 feet right now, but we also have our prep table and all our stuff in there. Um, but we have probably 15 racks, 15 racks of greens going at one time.
So Creative Greens.
Yeah.
That's the name of it. Do
Yeah,
you
we don't
guys
even have a website up and running yet.
I was curious.
I have a start of a Instagram up, but and a start of a like a Facebook group, but
Mhm. What would
we're not
shipping
selling.
those look like?
Well, shipping them over state lines becomes a FDA and USDA sort of deal, and that's what we're running into right now with our greens powders. Um,
How
so
does
that's
a
why
company like Athletic Greens do it?
the FDA, they're
Oh, okay.
regulated. Yeah, yeah. So what we had to do is we had to send ours in and have it lab tested so they know expiration date or how long, from time you dry it to, you know, um, packaged, how long it lasts. You have to know the exact nutrient density of it and stuff like that. Everything that's in it. You have to disclose how it's grown. Like we use oh my god, Sungrow. Uh, it's essentially a seed starting mix. So we use it's not dirt, it's peat moss and vermiculite essentially.
What is
Uh,
vermiculite?
just like a water absorbing stone,
Oh, okay.
like a perlite and vermiculite. They're two like it looks like volcanic rock, but it's
Okay.
tiny, like super tiny. And that's just mixed together. It comes together, and we just use that and put it in our seed flats. And
Is that stuff regulated then?
no, because it's fully organic. It's all inert material. It's peat moss or yeah, ours is peat, but they also have like sphagnum moss, and you can grow it on coconut coir, rolls, and I mean, there's so many different ways to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
So
like I'm totally intrigued right now. So here's my mind. I hear because I've seen your Creative Greens. I've seen some of your I don't know where I saw your pictures at it. Maybe it was on
I've
the
posted
Insider.
some pictures. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been and it's been stewing in my mind of and that's why I'm curious like how much room does it take? What do you
Oh,
need for regulation? And
bro,
because
for your stuff, like if you were gonna sell it, like you could sell it. It's just a farm commodity. As long as you cut it and you're not processing it, it's a farm commodity. It's like going to the farmer's market and buying sweet corn, you know, tomatoes. Same thing. You're just
yeah,
packaging it in a plastic clamshell, or in our case, we use a biodegradable clamshell. But like yeah, that's all it is. I mean, once you get across state lines or you're processing it, then you have to go through. You have to have an actual workstation that's state inspected, and you just have to get a license to do it, which we have for our Amazon side anyway. So we just use the same space.
love it.
So that's kind of what catapulted us into wanting to freeze dry and grind up and do athletic greens and whatnot.
Yeah. So is there a timeline on when that's going to happen?
Hopefully soon.
Yeah.
Uh,
Keep me on the email list. I want to sign up for that.
Yeah.
because that's
So
something
right now
that,
it's just broccoli sprout powder. So
yeah,
I'll let you know the minute we get it up and running.
hell yeah.
It smells
Oh
like broccoli, like dirty feet.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like broccoli just stinks.
Oh, I know.
And it tastes like broccoli. And that's all it is. But it's the so with broccoli, the great thing is something called sulforaphane, which is like the best cancer fighter that you can produce, that you can have in your body.
No
That's why
kidding.
they tell you to eat brassicas like broccoli to prevent colon cancer. And
Really.
for guys, yeah, man, for guys our age, we're gonna have to start worrying about that soon.
Well, listen, let me get real personal. I lost my mother to colon cancer. I've lost many fellow family members to colon cancer. Lost my stepmom to just ovarian cancer, but it transitioned its way out into other areas. So yeah, I have a very unique relationship, as a lot of people do, with cancer itself, but most notably colon cancer.
Yeah, so broccoli's gonna be your best friend, especially broccoli microgreens.
Yeah.
Like I would, I should show you how to fucking grow those and have you grow them right on your kitchen counter, man. With
Well,
literally like a 2 foot fluorescent light.
listen, here's the thing,
So-
Bryce. We invested in a greenhouse
Oh
this
my God.
past year. We have a 8x10 greenhouse that is totally usable.
Oh yeah. Oh, and they grow really great in natural sunlight. They just get really long and lanky.
Mhm.
Like that's why we grow ours inside. We want them long, but we want them really compact, and we want, but it's all about airflow, light and airflow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude,
Absolutely.
can we end there?
We can.
I'm like buzzing right now.
Perfect.
Bryce, where can people find you and learn more about what you have going on? What's the place to go to? Or are you good?
Hit me up on, I'm always in Clubhouse. Hit me up there. Hit me up on DMs, whether it's Instagram or Discord, Twitter.
And your Instagram handle?
Bryce Allard 11.
Bryce Allard 11.
Yep, and Twitter is Bryce_Allard. I tried to
Beautiful.
get them all the same, man, but
You just
I started
can't.
Twitter way before I started Instagram. So
yeah, somebody got your name. Somebody figured out who you were and took it.
maybe,
They said this is gonna be worth money someday.
maybe, hopefully.
Hey, Bryce, thank you so much for joining us today. Appreciate your time and energy and what you have going on. I truly am inspired by your openness and your big heart that you have. You are totally community focused, and it comes out through everything that you do. And for that, I applaud you, and I'm a fan of yours, and I will continue supporting what you got going on, brother.
Thank you.
Enjoy. As always, guys, enjoy the journey. Take care.
Later.
Thank you so much for sticking here until the very, very end. If you wouldn't mind just leaving a comment or subscribing or liking the podcast or wherever you downloaded this, maybe it was from YouTube, I would love for that. You take an extra couple seconds to give us some more love. Even though you have listened here to the very, very end, we appreciate that so much. Could you also go over to thestarspodcast.com if you found any of this really interesting and you wanted to dive in a little bit further, or go to our Discord, which is Rocinante Studios NFT. Enjoy the journey.